All right, guys, so here are the last two the last two questions for the video. These two people did generally pretty well on, but some people didn't quite look at the directions for the first one. So this one says, an observer in a 55-foot tall lighthouse spots a boat approaching the shore at an angle of depression of 9.5 degrees. A student sketch of the situation is shown, where X represents the distance from the shore. Okay, now some of you read that and just looked at this and got very confused. You need to read the directions. Look at the very first thing they say. Describe, that means write it out, and correct the error that the student made. So let's check. 55-foot tall lighthouse, that's the right spot. Angle of depression of 9.5 degrees, that's in the right spot. Remember, it's got to be a horizontal line going down. So that's okay. Now, X is supposed to be the distance from the shore. Is this the distance from the shore? No, the shore is down here at the bottom. So X is in the wrong spot. It's supposed to go right there. So the X should go on the bottom of the triangle, or something to that extent. You had to put it in words somehow. If you didn't put it in words, you didn't get full credit, because describe means write it out. Once you have that figured out, then you can start doing things as usual. Remember, you're not going to use this anymore. Don't use the X there. We got to put the 9.5 in the triangle. Remember, we talked about angle of depression is equal to angle of elevation. Angle of depression is here, and angle of elevation would be right there. So this is also 9.5 degrees. Now I can start solving it like usual. If this is my angle, this is the opposite side, this is the adjacent side, and this is my hypotenuse. There's a 55 and an X here. So if I think about my TOA, opposite adjacent means I'm going to use the TOA, which is tangent. So tangent of 9.5, yes, you can use decimals, equals 55 over X, because opposite over adjacent, remember it's TOA. This is regular trig because you're solving for a side, so put this over 1 and start cross multiplying. 55 times 1, X times tangent, 9.5 on the other side. 55's over here. Okay, so you should have had it set up like this. You're trying to get X by itself. If X is being multiplied by tangent 9.5, then divide both sides by tangent 9.5. You got to get that whole group out of the way. Whatever you do to one, you got to do to the other. So X is going to be equal to whatever 55 divided by tangent 9.5 is. And when I calculated it, I got 328.67 feet. If you had this written out and you still didn't get the right answer, let us know. We'll work with you and figure out how to use your calculator properly. Last one down at the bottom, it says Dale is watching the sunset from the top of a cliff. There's a boat in the water 120 feet from the base of the cliff. Base means bottom. If the cliff is 185 feet tall, what is the angle of elevation? And by the way, I should check my rubric up here. Did I correctly fix the error? Yes. Did I write the correct equation? Yes, and I correctly solved it. So always check our rubrics. So down here, 1 point for correctly placing the distances in the diagram. The boat is 120 feet from the base of the cliff. Well, the base is right here, so the boat is 120 feet away. The cliff itself is 185 feet tall, so I get 1 point just for putting those numbers in. I'm looking for the angle of elevation, so that's my X. Remember, angle of elevation has to go with a horizontal line. The only horizontal line is right here. This is my 90 degree, by the way, so I can't use that. So right here is my X angle. That's what I'm looking for. Once I have that, now I can just start solving. Here's my opposite side, here's my adjacent side, here's my hypotenuse. So it's opposite adjacent again. So TOA. O and A make tangent, TOA. So tangent of X this time, because I don't know the angle, equals O over A. So 185 over 120. If I'm trying to get X by itself, I got to get rid of this tangent. Well, what undoes tangent? inverse tangent. Kind of like the opposite of multiplication is division. So x is there. Whatever you do to one, you got to do to the other. A lot of you guys did pretty well with this one we saw. If you had issues, maybe you just plugged it in wrong or used the wrong trig. But inverse tangent of 185 divided by 120 should have come out to 57.03 degrees because it's an angle. So I wrote the equation, solved it. There are my full points. Feel free to rewind or ask questions if you need to.